So Cindy, what's up? Why are two Canadians sitting here at Insurtech Connect talking in front of a laptop, right? What are you doing here? Why don't you tell us a bit about where you're from, who you're representing, what brought you to the conference?
That's a lot of questions.
Yeah. Just start where you want, right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Maybe we can start with some fun. Like, if you want to start with some fun, like, tell me what was there something interesting you did while you were here?
What? Getting off the strip.
Okay.
Getting off the strip. Top golf,
Yeah.
swing, practice.
Okay.
Haven't been out in the world, right? So practicing the swing, that's
Okay.
good.
How far did you hit the
Very
ball?
well.
How far did you hit the
It
ball?
fell into one of those pink circles. That's the
Okay.
goal of the game.
Yeah.
Sounds like I made a lot of points. I'm not sure what that means.
I'm not aware of a pink circle. I've been to Top Golf
There's
before.
a lot of pink circles.
Okay.
You try to hit the ball into the circle?
Okay. So this was like a target practice.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
No, I didn't target
Okay.
anything. It just happened.
I wonder if this is like a post-COVID thing. No.
Things are changing. Hey, that's a good segue. Things are changing.
Things are changing, and
Things
I
are
think
changing.
this is part of why we're all here. We're talking about future of insurance, technology. How does it all come together? You're representing Friss, right?
Correct.
What does Friss stand for? Why don't you start there? Like, what is Friss all about?
Certainly. So we're based out of the Netherlands. So
Okay.
obviously I represent Canada and that's head of sales.
Mm.
But we basically detect fraud throughout the policy cycles from underwriting to claims to the case management, making sure that we fill those gaps. So we know that transformation, we know that we're trying to go faster, we're trying to get to customers, we're trying to write the policies. And that creates gaps. So if we don't have the proper mechanism to prevent fraud from entering the book of business, ideally at underwriting,
Okay.
if you haven't caught it up front,
Yeah.
it's always the claims.
Right.
And then at the claims side, you want to make sure that you have all the actionable insights.
Yeah.
And make sure that the adjusters are equipped with proper information to make the next best decision.
Yeah.
You know what to do with the client if there's any element that sounds fraudulent.
Okay.
Transformation.
Yeah.
I think that's why everybody's here. We're all
Yeah. That's really cool. You mentioned a few things there. I have a claims background, so in working for carriers, when you talk about fraud, everyone's attention goes to claims, and it's always like after the fraud has happened. So I think talking about prevention is really important. So it sounds like Friss prefers to focus more on the underwriting side first to help with preventing fraud before it comes in.
That's ideal.
Yeah.
That's ideal. What we're seeing is a lot of carriers are starting on the claim side because it's a little bit more familiar and there may not be that advanced into the customer journey yet to go to straight through processing. So learning from claims can also inform what they do on the underwriting side.
Okay, so basically you meet your clients where they are. So
Absolutely.
if they don't have a fraud prevention practice per se underwriting level, you'll start with the claims organization and then perhaps have that work towards an underwriting culture, a loss prevention.
So there's different level for sure. I think every carrier is a little bit different in different markets. Like we cover 23 countries. So countries in Europe, countries in Latin America would be different than the US, would be different than Canada.
Yeah, of course.
The UK is very advanced. We know that they've got some IFP, they've got a lot of pooling already in place.
Yeah.
They're mandated. So what we're looking at is how do we come and support the care based on where there are, what are the objectives from a transformation and digitization practice, and then match that to where we can fill the gaps and make sure that there's proper mechanisms in place. It's very much a journey because it gets embedded if you're looking at claims only. Let's get embedded in the process. And that's the objective is once you have the data is great. But what do you do with the data? So you have actionable insights, you know exactly what was fraudulent based on the AI models and the machine learning and other things. And what does the adjuster do with it?
Right.
So that's where the expertise of our data say we work with their teams, we work with the data science teams, but we also work with the front end teams. Build the processes around the data to make it very actionable. And then if they want to go straight to processing or they want to do some level of straight to processing, the definition of straight to processing is
Right. Yeah.
different for every single carrier.
Right, and that can scare some carriers, like if they're on the automation journey, but everyone's at a different place in that journey. And we'll just use an example. Like a lot of mutuals have jumped into migrating into guidewire environments, going cloud-based. So automation is becoming part of their vernacular, part of their language, but they're not as advanced as maybe a stock company or a company that's based out of Europe that is in multiple markets. So I'm partnering with Friss, let's say I'm a smaller company like a mutual, we'll stick with that example. Do you provide, in addition to like push reports or insights, do you provide like a human element, like an account management type support? Can you talk a little bit about that?
100%.
Yeah.
So, it's a really good question because there's a lot, especially in Canada.
Mhm.
We have a lot of carriers that fall into second, third tier. So larger companies may have a very detailed, implemented fraud program.
Right.
They need to have their own models that we collaborate with because we want to complement. It's their expertise. They built it. They have their knowledge of their own business. It's very specific.
Right.
And typically we will collaborate on the smaller companies may not have that in place. And in fact, they may be very early going from Excel spreadsheets
Yeah.
in case management, right?
Yeah,
And then building from there. And it goes, what we're finding is it's very, and the reason why our solutions in healthcare is that it's very based on the expertise of the clinics. So you come with your background, right? Just like human beings. So you come with your expertise in claims, and then you see some things. You may see things that are potentially fraudulent, but it's all based on how it's phrased, what is represented, what is shared, and then your expertise as a claims adjuster. You have different degrees. So we come and support that by streamlining how the data is analyzed and shared with the claims in a form, in a standardized form, and then you leave the subjective elements out of the equation. So that's certainly an important.
Takes the guesswork out then.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And then this is the knowledge that we share with the staff. The actionable insights.
Okay.
We start working with the carriers at different levels to say, what do we want to do with the data? What does it represent? What actions can you take? And then we work with the claims team to really bring that in. And for smaller carriers, often the issue is the data. And it's a fear. It's right? Getting the data in a format that will be
They don't know how to
compatible.
adjust it, disseminate it. Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of data maybe labeled. So how do you work with the data that is not labeled as fraudulent
Right.
to make sure that the models evolve? And what we start with those carriers, if they don't have the data, we start with the expert business rules that we built and accumulated. So everything that's global that we've defined has the out of the box indicators of fraud.
Yeah, like an MVP version that you can just give to someone because
to get started.
A lot of these companies might not have a fraud strategy, and that might be something new. Like they may just discover for the first time that they have leakage that they weren't even aware of, right? And I'm sure a lot of fraudsters know that, and then they become targets. So you bring that expertise, being a global provider. How many markets is Friss in?
23 countries.
23 countries. Wow, that's phenomenal. So let's jump into how are things going in Canada, because we're both Canadians, right? We're gonna talk a little bit about Canada, represent. So how are things going in Canada?
Things are going well.
Yeah.
Things are going well. So we have a great market share. We've got some great partners, and it's been an evolution, right? So in the last 3 years, I think we entered Canada 5 years ago, from very early beginnings.
Yeah.
And it's been a great progression. Again, our models were really innovative for the time that we entered Canada. Continue to evolve over time. And what we have found, we always, I think, underestimate the efforts that it takes to enter a new market.
Yes.
And our team did it as well. I think it's something that you do.
Yeah.
I think it can be replicated. And what we found with some of the adopters, we were able to build with them. We came in obviously with our platform that's been established for a number of years, and made it more Canadian into the portfolio, the customer experience.
Right.
Again, how do you embed it into processes? And each carrier is a little bit different. See that differentiate themselves. And then data sources. So again, what is Canadian in building partnerships not only with carriers but the entire ecosystem around insurance companies. On the implementation, on data sources, on
So what about, because you said ecosystem, so you just triggered something in me. I'm thinking about distribution channels because we've got a good mix in Canada of direct, and then we have broker distribution, MGAs, agents, etc. Do you only work with the carrier, like the underwriter directly, or do you work with some brokers and agents? Are you guys at that level?
No, we haven't specifically worked with carriers.
Okay. So, and on the carrier side, coming from Europe, we have some large European carriers that are very dominant in Canada. I don't have to mention their names; they know who they are. Has that helped you break into the Canadian market at all and establish some credibility?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think there's what's exciting where we stand with the market share that we have with clients is there's also a desire to start sharing. So we know there's a lot happening in the market to continue evolving on their tool in the marketplace globally. As a nation, as a country that will fight fraud and take some strong stance against fraudsters. So looking again to evolve into how we can be a partner in that ecosystem and work with our carriers that are currently members. How do we collaborate in making that happen? Founders 15 years ago decided that it was not acceptable. It wasn't the cost of doing business.
Yes.
To let fraud 10% of claims.
Yeah, it's significant.
Significant. And then it's passed on to customers.
That's right. That's
so
the worst
in the
part.
end, we founded the company for that purpose. And in Canada, this is the discussion we're having. How do we collaborate together to have an even stronger impact than at the insurer level, one at a time?
Right.
What can we share? How can we collaborate in this entire ecosystem with all the partners? Real dent and an impact.
Would you say carriers are listening? Are they open to having the dialogue, the conversation?
They are. I mean, there's legislation, right? That comes in the way, and privacy, and so it's not an easy conversation. There's a desire, however, strong.
Yeah.
The desire is there.
Yeah.
I think the market is ready. I think everybody is in. It's a long process.
It is a long process. Yeah. Is there anybody, so, for those carriers out there in Canada who are listening, if you don't know about Friss, now you do. So reach out to Sindy. So Sindy, you are Friss Canada.
I'm Friss Canada.
You are.
You are Insurtech Canada.
And I am Insurtech Canada. Everyone else brought a region. We brought countries.
Correct.
With us. I think there are more than just us.
There's a lot more.
Canadians. Yeah, there are some Canadians out there. We're searching around for them. Just kind of closing thoughts here. What does Friss want to be known for? What is the thing, if you were to boil it up into a few sentences, that sets Friss apart from everybody else who's trying to do fraud?
Yeah. A couple of things. I would say that the real-time component, again, we know that the data can be shared in multiple formats and in frequency. Real-time is the key, really catching it and then providing the adjusters with the information they need in fashion to make the next best decision. So I think that's one component that is not negotiable for us. Second, I would say that it's the full suite. So all our products are standalone, fully integrated, end-to-end solution, but they're also standalone. But ideally, the fact that you can feed your underwriting, prevent it up front, so close the door to the party, you're not welcome, and then continue on to the claims, and then feed it to the case management in one seamless process, and have the feedback loop completely integrated all the way through. Has been a key to our success for sure.
And my understanding is you guys only focus on fraud. That's it. There's some other folks out there, we won't name them, that are trying to do this as well, but it's just another thing that is part of their suite. You guys are focused exclusively, that's your core on fraud. So that's a big differentiator as well, I would say.
All of our team and the expertise and the people that we recruit, if that can answer your last question, the third piece I would say that differentiates us is the experience, the expertise that we gather.
Quality people right here. Yeah.
But we hire people that have insurance expertise throughout the organization, whether it is data science, our implementations, our project teams, our customer success managers.
I think there's a first person walking by right there.
There we go. We see them everywhere.
Yeah. Hey, let's get some branding in here. We're recording a podcast. Can you just stand behind us for? No, I'm serious. Yeah. It's all good. We'll edit it out to make it like. Oh yeah. That's probably a good idea. Okay.
Are you with eShare?
Insurtech Connect. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So David's just going to join us here because he's a good prop. He's a good backdrop. He's wearing you're more than a backdrop, David. I don't care what they say. Yeah, but he's wearing the Friss orange, and it's very noticeable here because no one else chose that brand color. So you guys are standing out.
Makes a statement.
And people are talking about you guys too, right?
Yeah.
More than just your happy hour. So that's
also, but that's good.
So we're actually just closing up right now.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure to share this with you. But on the closing thoughts, you talked about what you guys want to be known for. Where can we find Friss? If anyone's curious out there, carriers or anyone else who wants to know more about Friss, what's the best way to find you guys?
Certainly reach out. I'll be easily to find Sindy Houle on LinkedIn. I think I'm the only one, especially with an S. So reach out. anytime. We're happy to have the conversation and share the knowledge and the expertise and what we built in Canada and we'll continue to build. Very committed in growing the North American market. So we'll have a conversation anytime.
Thank you, Sindy, for joining us.
You're
And thanks for
welcome.
popping in, David.
Yeah, you bet.
Unexpected.
Glad I could
Yeah,
help.
appreciate it. All right.
Sounds
That's a
good.
wrap, guys. Thank you. We're going to record on the computer. So let's see. Bring this down a bit. Is that better? What's the hair? Right?
Oh, I'm so bright.
What? Oh, are we recording? Oh, that's actually recording.
Oh,
So,
great. You're going to
okay,
have
so
to
that-
reverse.
Well, yeah, but you know, we good. Do you think we should like? Do
lower it like this.
you think we should have? Want to go lower?
Like a little bit.
Because I was always told that.
No, like you can
Oh, now we have. Yeah. Okay.